Hello again, YouTube. Welcome back. We're going to do right now is the refit phase that's going to happen between scenarios. So this scenario we just finished is the 14 night, second of two scenarios on the first day of the campaign game 4. And this is the refit phase that happens between each of the different scenarios before we commence with the new one. So in terms of 15 September 42, I have no idea if I'm going to continue the fight or if I'm going to take an idle day. Hopefully the Russians don't attack because I've been lost a lot of units. We'll go over that all, but we'll see what it's like. All right, so we're going to be going through the refit phase, as you can see here. There's a whole list of things you got to do, starting from 12.601 all the way to 0.627. There won't be a Russian counterattack per se, but the Russians might go on the assault. We'll figure that out when we get to 12.625, the initiative determination. So right now we have to work our way through that. So we're going to go from 12.6 and just work our way through. And there's going to be a lot of edits in this video. I'm going to cut out a lot of the boring parts in between as I'm trying to figure something out while I'm redrawing something or something along those lines, just to trim this video down as much as possible. You should be able to follow along with the steps I'm doing if you have the Valor of the Guards rules set anyways. So first things first, before we even get into any of this, I completely forgot about this one melee that was going on. These units had broken from here and they'd moved to here. And then I had units here that I jumped onto them with the express purpose of killing them in hand-to-hand because I really need, I'd like to get 180 victory points. So what's going to happen is this combat here, we should have resolved it before we get to the refit phase. So we'll do that quickly. So let's do an ambush die roll for the attacker. So I'm lax, but I also have a hero, so that cancels out, so I get a 1. The Russian defender is a 3. He's broken, so that's a +1. And they are conscript squads as well, so that's a +2 actually, so it's a 5. So I definitely got ambush. Now the way it works against broken units, if you want to look at the values, so I have 11 firepower. He has 2 4-2-6s, so that's 8. So it's on the 1-to-1 table. I'm going to declare hand-to-hand, which means I need a 7. Now, we look at the modifiers. I've got ambush, so I'm at a -1. It's a broken unit. That's another -2 for a total of -3 so far. I got a hero. It's a -4 from 7. So basically anything but a 12, and I will be able to kill him in hand-to-hand. If it's an 11, it's a partial kill. So let's get that out of the way. And it's a 6, so they're dead. And I have my 180. That 180 value is going to come in handy when it comes to determining the Russian initiative for the next day. Okay, so next thing is the first step of the refit phase 12.601, which is conclusion of melee. Now, I do not believe I have any melee. Nope, no melee. All right, so that's done. We're basically going to remove markers now. So let's remove all the pins, all the DMs. What else can we remove in batch with this? Any defensive fire. I think that is it. Then I have to go through and remove any desperations, or sorry, any disrupted, fanatic, and or berserk. So you're normal. Now you're 548. You already are elite. You cannot battle harden itself, so I'm just going to remove it anyways. But normally I would keep that on because there's a chance for each such unit to actually be battle hardened if it's fanatic, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Looks like I'm wrong on that. So it looks like all the fanatic, disrupted, and berserk markers come off. CX. Yep, CX comes off as well. All right, so that is 12.603 marker removal. Now we get rid of the snipers as the last part of that phase. So that's one. Let's drag you over here. All right. So that's it for 603. Next up is declaration of the scenario of victor. Now, as we said, the Russians needed 10 stone locations consisting of either rubble or building locations. Stone only counts, nothing else does. So while these lumber yards and such are strategic locations, they did not count for victory points. So he's got a total of 9. And he needed 10 to win. Now, all these ones here in red are just areas that he already owns. It has to be 10 more than he started with, which is basically limited to the south. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That one's his. Try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These rail cars do not count. They're strategic locations, but they don't count for victory. So he's got 9, which means he did not achieve his objective since he was on the attack of 10, which means it's a German victory. Rah, rah. From here, we rally everybody. Now, with Solitaire, because obviously the nature of the game, those units are actually not maintained. They're going to all come off, but right now I have to leave them on board because they determine where ground control points are laid, so that to determine perimeter marker. A lot of dead Germans, or broken Germans down here. Broken gun, and you. All right, quick check, make sure I didn't miss any. Looks like I didn't. Broken gun, of course. All right, next up, rallying is done. Now we have encirclements. No encirclements apply, no minefields. Now we're going to start drawing the perimeter. So we start putting down control markers, which I've already done. You can see all the German crosses. Now those are put down on strategic locations and or where I have troops. So I've been kind of diligent on collecting most of those. There's a couple areas that still have to be sorted out, but by and large, I believe I got them all. And I'm really only marking the ones on the edge of the perimeter. All this area here is something that the Germans have pushed into the night and gained. So this is an excellent foothold for the next day's activities. This will be interesting, whether or not that turns into a pocket. I believe this guy is going to be isolated here because you can't double back on your path, which means I have to come this way, which means I guess I can go that way. No, he'll be isolated. Strategical locations is there's a list at the beginning of the campaign game definitions. Basically, rail cars, building rubble, stuff like that, not debris. If they have Russian troops, I'm not going to bother putting down control markers. All right, so that's good. Now we're going to put down some edge markers. So Russians have gained a lot of ground, so here in the south. I guess technically it would be there. All right, that's the map edge markers. That's 12.6063. Next up, we have perimeter markers. This is where we basically go from, it has to be a multi-man counter. Single mans don't count. Multi-man counter and or strategic locations. I basically put these control markers down, so it doesn't really matter how. We'll put the first one down as allied, and we'll just start going from there. Whoops. And basically the concept is you want to point to another counter without looping back on itself. I guess we can go like that. Yeah, this guy's going to be isolated here. And the way you determine this is by hex grain. So this is a hex grain, or you go an alternate hex grain like we're going to have here. Like that. So basically down, up. Although I probably could have gone up, down. I don't think it really matters. There's no strategic location here, so it's not going to matter that much. This might be a pocket, actually. So if I go down, up, I can't count that. That's going to be a pocket. Because the axis ones are going to come down like, wish you would stop doing that. Like that. So I have to go to here. All right, so that's going to be a pocket. Down, up, down. This A1 is going to be isolated as well. as is this tank, which is going to be immobilized. This one here might have a chance to escape. I guess you would go like that. And then you would go down. You're alt into hex grain. This is where it's going to get a little bit tricky. Alternate hex grain. I guess you got to go there. Maybe it won't be that tricky. So how would that go? This would actually be alternate. This would be over here. This would be over there. Comes down to here. And then it goes alternate hex grain to there. All right, now we'll draw the German one, and then we'll go back and we'll do any adjustments that have to be made. So we start with you. You'll come all the way here. All right, so you're going to come to here. Now you'll have to go up and around. This will be alternating hex grain to this location here. And then due south. You'll come across alternating hex grain to here. Oh, crap. And then you're going to come to here. Then you're going to backtrack. So it looks like I got two pockets. This is a Russian pocket, and this would be a German pocket. So there's a chance these guys can escape. All right, so that way. South. Actually, no, you'll be coming back on yourself to there. This will be a straight line due south, so I'll just put them like this. It's unfortunate I couldn't grab this spot here. It's going to be like a little thorn in my side. And then we'll go alternating hex grains to this location because I do own that even though there's not a marker there. Actually, you'd come down due south, I guess. You'd come to here, then you go alternating hex grain to this location, to there. Due south. You start backtracking on yourself. To there. Now this would be alternating hex grain. Right? Or would it be to here? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. There's a lot of land I lost. To here. And that's an alternating hex grain to there. So I'm pretty sure that's accurate. That's the way it should be. So this is 12.6064 perimeter markers. The pertinent part here is the placement must continue in this manner until each side has formed a closed loop of connecting hex grains, which that side is satisfied and closed to the largest perimeter area legally possible. It's possible to have more than one closed loop in this manner, not applicable. But basically the overall gist of determining perimeters is in 12.606 it mentions if the loop is determined properly, each side will be able to start at any frontline location, and by moving only into an adjacent frontline location and never re-entering the same frontline location, eventually ending up back at that starting frontline location, which means these two hexes might be no man's land. That might be no man's land. Because I'd have to backtrack to get to this one. So what does that mean for you guys? You guys are escaped. Or sorry, you'll have the chance to escape. It's not looking good for you guys. Yeah, looks like those guys might be in a pocket. Because it's going to be 1, 2, 3. Modifiers for that are basically on this escape table. You know what, we'll get to that when we get to that. So perimeter markers are done. Now we just have to go back and readjust. So let's hide those. All right, so pockets delineation. So you come due south. You come due. Pocket can never include any location that was enclosed in the friendly perimeter area, nor may any map edge hex. 12.6068. Okay, so it does. This is a normal normal perimeter. So it is according to 12.6068. It's a map edge hex which falls as part of the normal section of the perimeter area. Okay, well that's good. All right, next up we skip ahead to 6069, which is at this point each side gains control of all non-isolated locations within the perimeter area and removes all enemy control markers in such locations. So this one here becomes friendly. That becomes friendly. So we do have a pocket here. We do have a pocket here. They're adjacent to friendly territories, so that means they can attempt escape. For the Russians, it's not going to matter. They're going to die in the process or surrender. And it doesn't count for victory points, so at this point, it doesn't really matter what happens. Any other areas that belong suddenly to the Germans and or the Russians? It looks like everything is set. Okay, so next we have isolation and escape. So we have two pockets. Let's do the German guy first. So we're looking right now at 12.6073 escapes. These are the results, and these are the modifiers down here. So it is +1 for half squad over the above the 1. -1 is adjacent, so that cancels. All right, so straight up roll. 5, so you escape. So you're welcome back to the fold. You're that. And this belongs to the allies. So let me readjust the the marker. Now we do you guys. Again, it doesn't really matter. You're going to be eliminated anyways when I delete all the units, so I'll just keep you guys over there. Gets confusing otherwise. All right, so we have a couple Russian tanks. All the German tanks are in friendly territory, right? Yeah. Yes. So we have 2 Russian tanks. Now you're immobile. Now you're immobile, so you don't count for escape. It has to be a mobile unit. So it looks like you're going to be stuck on the map at game. So there's going to be a manned thing. Now you should start with ammo shortage though. Ammo shortage. You should start with ammo shortage. Now you are adjacent, so you can roll to see. So let's see what happens with you. 6, so you're going to be escaping as well. -1 for being Russian. Adjacent is another -1, so you're already looking at a 4. So yeah, so you're good. And I'm going to keep all these Russian units aside just so that I can calculate, you know, exactly what got generated and what I ended up killing in this game. Okay, next up is drawing the perimeter. All right, so first things first, let's get rid of the suspects. They all disappear. All right, so that is it for the moist one. Suspect counters, we don't care. I've already calculated how many of those are left. 26 out of a total of 180, I think it was, or am I missing counting? 168 counters, suspect counters, of which only 26 were not activated. Were not determined to be dummy or active. So this are the results I'm talking about. This is where I'm going to be tracking all my kills and activations. So this is what was set up originally, 168 counters total. These were the 2 sets of reinforcements that came on. And luckily I was able to roll and cease them. So this is what activated, and these are what turned out to be dummy. So it left basically 26, my math's correct-ish, counters that were either, that could have been something. Basically, there's a lot for the Germans to face. And luckily it was only a, it wasn't an all-out attack, which would have saw all the ground level units turn into the, on the offensive. All right, so next up, we'll get rid of the counters. Now that would be mine, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to get rid of it. Oh yeah, you. So what would have happened to you? So each friendly SMC that's still outside the friendly perimeter area is eliminated. Not like it matters, but you're gone as well. I don't get victory points for that though. You're gone as well. None of the Russian units are maintained between scenarios, good or bad. Alrighty, and I will tabulate these up off camera. You don't have to worry. I'm not going to subject you to that. All right, next up, let's remove the friendly forces. It looks like you're destroyed. It's a lot of wounded leaders are going to have to make die rolls for. Watch, we'll probably lose more of them. So I own those guns. Yeah, okay, picked them up already. You own everything that's inside your perimeter, so I'm just taking Russian and as well as friendly Russian weapons and friendly units. I'm gonna grab them all. I'll put you guys over there. Looks like a lot, but it didn't feel like a lot on the day of. All right, now I've got several mobilized vehicles. Those will stay on for now until I attempt to recover them. You are going to go up here as well. And hopefully I can repair those weapons that are broken. Okay, so units are off. Let's look at the counters again. Now we have to draw the perimeter. This is step 12.6076 where you draw the perimeter. Again, I'll zip through this, you won't even see it. But basically I'm going to use two colors to represent the new borders. Right now blue is Axis and yellow was the Russian start points. So we'll see what it looks like when I'm done with this. And there we go, that's it for the Russians. So this was what it look like. Let's turn those off. So the red lines are going to indicate their advance. Yellow is where the start lines were. So now we got to do the same with the Germans. Yep. All right, and that should be it. We'll put this last one down. And yeah, so again, what does that look like? So there's the front lines. Red is the Russian setup. Green is the German setup. Where they overlap, I've kept the red, and the yellow and blue shows the previous day's scenarios setup. So you can see Germans gained a fair bit of ground everywhere along the map. Less this area here. This is more or less solidifying. I was able to gain a little bit more control of this area, but I definitely lost a lot of ground down here in the south. More stuff which I'll have to reclaim in the future. All right, so where are we here? We just drew the perimeter. I'm going to clear the map. We already did that. Isolated areas. There's only the one tank that starts off in isolation. And now we're going to go through the rest of this. And let's start with the flames. And all right, so each location marked with a blaze is considered fully consumed. So burning wrecks. And a burnt out wreck counter goes in its place. So you guys can go. A lot of wrecks on this map already. You guys can go. That'll go. All right, so that's burning wrecks. Next, brush orchard or wooden rubble is gone, and there's only shell holes. Now, I don't believe there's... Yeah, there's one right here. I guess it's gone. All right, so we have shell hole here. That can go. These are going to be gutted rail cars. Oh, another one here. And here. All right, that's it for gutted. Oh yeah, one more. Don't want to forget any. All right, next up, stone rubble. Can catch fire. For each non-factory stone building that has one blaze in its locations must be made to determine whether the building will become gutted or rubbled. So we have one building on fire here, and it is only a one-story. Single dice, and it is a +2 for single hex building, which means the building is rubbled. So this is gone. And we get stone rubble. That's the only building, so that's it for flames. Now we do flame spread. Each flame is now flipped over. So those are blazes. And another blaze counter is adjacent to it. There we go. That's what's lit up at the beginning of the next phase. So it looks like this whole area is going to be burnt up by the time we're done. All right, next up is 12.611 wounded leaders. This one's gonna suck. So let's get rid of all the, let's save it just in case. All right, let's get rid of the control markers and deletable perimeter markers. All right, we got the perimeters delineated. I'll get rid of the other ones that don't count anymore in between sessions. Again, I won't put you guys through that. So let's go into wounded leaders now. Alrighty. All right, so we sorted out all the Germans now. This is what's left of the German Orbat. Again, this picture of what, 50 more squads that have been blown off of the map. And you can see how much the casualties really hurt the Germans. Anyway, let's get going. Wounded leaders make a die roll for each currently wounded leader. On a die roll less than 2, the leader is retained in his wounded state. 3+, and he's dead. So you are good. You are not. You are good. Two wounded leaders, a 7-0 and an 8-0. So a 6+1 and a 7+1. Next up, we got battle hardening. All right, each side may retain, this is 12.6121, light mortar support weapon teams. Each side may retain 1 half squad for each light mortar currently in the order of battle, of which I've got 6, which I've never even used. So I can keep up to 6 half squads. There's 5, 6. All right, so there's my half squads. Well, that was easy. Pioneers are taking a kicking. A lot of Stoss troop. 9, what do we have? 9, 10, 11, 12. And another 10, 22, 4, 6, 7s are left. Wow, I may have to take a day off. All right, so half squads are recombined as much as possible. Heroes, each side, each retained hero is eliminated. However, can battle harden 1 MMC of the player's choice. So I have a hero here. So he's gone. And I think I'm going to battle harden a... who's left? 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, eh? Let's battle harden you. And then a secret die roll to see how many units I can battle hardened. -3 scenarios 1, -1 per 20 amassed by friendly side in this scenario. So I'm going to be definitely below 0. So it's going to be 5 MMCs I can battle hardened. So let's get you guys. Good old stalwart rifle company 3. Very nice. All right, next up we have leaders. Each retained heroic leader battle hardens, none available. So make a secret die roll. It's an 11. Oh, come on. -2 would be a 9. So I can battle harden a 7-0. Okay. Now, How many leaders do I have? I've got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 leaders. How many squads do I have? That's 9, 19, 25, 29, 29 and 15, 39, 44, 47, 50, 50.5 squad equivalents. Brain's failing me right now. It's 12.625 liters, of which I have 16, so I can't do the promotion out of the ranks. I guess I didn't lose as many liters as I thought. Five liters I lost. Plus one that died of his wounds. All right. Russian counterattack declaration. $12,625.3. Now it will be non-applicable because this was a counterattack, so there's not going to be one. Yeah, it has to be a day when a German assault scenario has been played first. So typically, the counterattacks will always happen at night, barring an idle day, I guess. So there's not going to be any Russian counterattack declaration, which means we can do a new campaign game day. Now we're on to 12.614, new campaign game day and SAN adjustment. All right, so these SANs go back to 3 and 5 because they get a +2 at nighttime just because of their effectiveness at night. So their actual SANs are 3 and 5. And their ELR is still 4, I believe. That hasn't changed. They lose one for the night mission, but I believe their base ELR is still 4. Subject to change, as we're going to find out. All right, so SAN adjustment. If it's greater than 4, must make a die roll with a plus, so that side's current SAN -4. Two. What is their SAN 5? So +1 would be a 3. So their SAN stays the same. Booby trap is a 4. So I need a 6, or I need a 6 to decrease the booby trap level. So it looks like they're still going to have booby trap level A, which means any task check with an 11 or 12 is going to lead to booby traps, which sucks. All right, so now we're going to deal with some equipment repair and replenishment. This will include the 3 tanks I have stuck on board. Two tanks? 2 tanks I have stuck on board. I'd be able to actually recover these and get them back up and running again. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, so each abandoned, non-isolated AFE in a friendly control location. Not abandoned. 12.6151 para D. Each side may attempt to recover each friendly, non-isolated, immobilized AFE, but making a die roll for each wreck. So let's go U. A 6. -2 if in friendly perimeter. Oh, okay, so 6 is an automatic fail, so you replace with a burnt out wreck counter. Although I could scrounge a gun. No, it doesn't have any machine guns, so I don't think I'm going to be able to scrounge anything out of it. 6082. So it looks like I might be able to, okay, let's deal this one first, but I might be able to recover these tanks and or scrounge from them, turn them out to burnt out wrecks. So let's go you. You're mobilized. So a single die roll for you. Okay, 1, so you're recovered. So let's button you up. Let's get rid of the bad things. Um, Add it to the pile. All right, you're back in action too because you get more fuel. As are you, I believe. We'll get to that. All right, so let's see if I can recover scrounge friendly wrecks. So I have this is friendly. And this is friendly. This is para F. Oh, I think I jumped the gun. So the one tank is recovered. And then para E is retained immobilized. Must make a die roll to see if it becomes mobile. Jump the gun, so you. A 2. Good enough. So you're okay. So a 1 or 2 means it becomes mobile. A 3+ means there's no change. There's a couple modifiers, none of which apply to this. Now I try and repair friendly vehicles. So I need a 1 or 2. Actually a 3 because the Germans get a -1 modifier. Partially armored is a +1, so no modifier. So I guess it's a 2. 1 or 2 and it's back. It is not. Labor counters. So we'll try and recover that again next time. And there was one down here. You would be really nice. All right, that is a tank. So with a -1 for German will be enough to repair it. So that is a Stug G. Now I can't remember which one that was because it was the one that had my armor leader in it, which I believe was Stug Platoon 2. No, 1. Stug 1. Alrighty, you guys are back to full strength. Isn't that nice? Alrighty, so that was 12.615 para F. Now I can probably scrounge. Where can I scrounge enemy wrecks? All right, now I got to repair guns. So we're on to 12.6152 weapon repair. On the table below, 1, it's repaired. Ugh. Got a lot of weapons. At least my weapons didn't die, I guess. Yeah, that's something. Oh, I only had the one. Okay. All right, so I need a 1 or less. What modifiers do I require? Weapon repair number is a 3, so I need a 4 or less. 4 or less to repair that heavy. All right, back in action. Now we have a tank that we got to replace its gun as well. So what's the modifiers? -2 for vehicle mounted. Minus repair number, which is a 1, is a -3. So again, a 4 or less to repair the gun. Yes. And these recalls are all gone, as is this. So it looks like my AAVs are all back in action. I only lost 2 in that whole combat. Weapon repair is done. Flamethrower is recharged with fuel. All our ammunition types are restored. All right, now I have to do recall. And redeploy stun. Small stun result is removed. Okay. Alt Shift W. Alt Shift Q. Okay. Next up we have AFE platoon redeployment 12.6162. Alrighty, so I've got two units that will attempt to come on, but let's sort these out by type. All right, so let's do you first. You're a 1, so you're retained. Modifiers are -1. What are my modifiers for the Germans? Are at a -1. Okay. Which means I get a modified, I guess anything but a 6. -1, yeah, so basically automatically they're retained. All right, so you guys are all retained because it's if you look at the table here, you need a 5 or less to retain it. There's a modifier of -1 because of the historical DRM, which basically means I can't lose. It's a single dice, so 6 or less in this case. So it's automatically retained, as are the 2 units that were redeployed. So they're all back in action. Well, that's good. Let me change these while I got them in my mind. Alrighty, moving on. Nothing's isolated. Fortification removal. I don't want to remove anything. I only have a roadblock and a wire, and none of them are exactly in my control anyways. Roadblock and a wire. All right, I'm going to get rid of these. That is friendly. All right, next up is CPP replenishment. Now, this is one thing that normally, because in a typical face-to-face play, when you do a counterattack, the German, who's usually on the defense, it gets half of the CPP that he rolled. I rolled an 18, so that means I lost 9 CPP. Now you make that up because in the subsequent attack, the defender, in this case the Russian, would lose half of his CPP. But because the Russians don't use CPP, they just have suspect counters. I don't know if it's fair or not to lose your half of your CPP and you don't gain the benefit in the daytime. At any rate, a really low roll would be nice. That's not a low roll. All right, modifiers. -1 for historical DRM. +1 selected the attack on the previous day. -1 per 20 VP suffered by the friendly side in the just recent completed scenario. 56 per each 20, so that would be -3, -4 total. Brings it down to a 4, which is 19 CPP. Nice. That gives me 23 CPP to spend. I'll buy my stuff later on. Let's continue on with the rest of the refit phase. Well, I know I'm buying troops. Two per day. Oof. I guess I'm buying more Stas troop. Anywho, ELR loss gain. Each side makes a die roll to determine if its present ELR changes. On a final die roll less than or equal to 2, that side's current ELR increases by 1. If it's over 13, then it decreases by 1 to a minimum of 0. All right, so modifiers for let's do the Russians first. How does that work? Using the solitaire rules. -1 for every 6 elite enemy squad equivalents. None were activated, so that doesn't apply. For every 12 first-line enemy squad equivalents. Jesus Christ. That's not fair. I had so many of them generated. First line. Maybe not. 3, 4, 5. Six. Oh, there was 2. -1 for elite squads, -1 for every 12 first lines. So it's going to be -2 modifier to that roll. What else we got? For every 3 AFEs activated. Well, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seven were activated, so that's going to be another -2. So -4 total. +1 protected. You picked an attack shit on the previous campaign game day. +2 since the last idle day, so that's a net -1. -2 for the historical DRM, so that's a 6. So ELR does not change. They are stuck with a 3. Germans. All right, so the Germans ELR change, and what I was talking about there, by the way, if you don't know, in the Solitaire Valid the Guards rules, there's this table which you use instead of the one that's in the normal Valid the Guards rules. So what applied was this one, that one, and these ones here. They all applied, and the historical DRM as well. For the Germans, what do we have? -1 per each scenario 1. That's -2. -2 per idle day since the last completed. None. Elites, I purchased 3 infantry companies. -1 for every 2 friendly platoons purchased. Fractions rounded up, so that is, I purchased 3 platoons, which would be -2 total, -4 total right now. +1 is a -3. -1 for historical is a -4. And 2 scenarios have been completed since the start of the campaign game, so that's going to be no modifier. That's a very close one. Because there's no modifier, my ELR does not change. If I would have had just 1 + 1, it would have been a, my ELR would have dropped to 3. Okay, so ELR stays at 4. Sands at 3. That doesn't change for the Germans until I buy them. Now we go into weather and EC determination and purchasing of troops. So that's where I'm going to end it. I'll show you the results of the calculations in a Game Squad forum post when I do update my log to reflect all these changes. Much like this one here. This is what the daytime looked like. 523 of them. That was like crazy. So I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm going to update it, and I'll post it on Game Squad forum in the Solitaire section. And I will put an after action there as well, sitrep, to update the forum as to what transpired in the nighttime over this, how long it take me? 2.5, 3 weeks to run. I got to be honest, this one was a bit of a slog. Yeah, it was a bit of a slog. Once I realized this was a losing battle, my morale dipped, and it was just horrible. Now, this is actually gone because I recovered it. Yeah, I'm going to replace all those with burnt out wrecks. I think that's fine. I really don't want to deal with that anymore. There's still line of sight hindrances, but this way I don't have to worry about, what's in them and such. If the Russians ever were to take him back, they might have a chance of recovering him, but, close enough for our purposes here. All right, so that's going to be it for me. As I said, this took me about almost 2 hours to do this phase, so I'm going to chop down this video a lot. There'll be a lot of dead time cut out, so you won't even notice that. But I'm looking forward to seeing you guys' comments in the next series, which is going to be the 15 September. Again, whether or not an attack happens, I will post on Facebook and Game Squad forums. So stay tuned to this channel, guys, and maybe we'll see Sunday whether I start then or maybe give it a few days. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you, YouTube.